7 o'clock now on this Monday night. We begin with the road to the White House. All eyes will be on the Palmetto State this weekend as the South Carolina Republican presidential primary is taking place. News 19's Shelley Garzone checked in with political strategists to hear more about what's at stake.
South Carolina plays a very pivotal role in national politics. We outswing our weight nationally because every presidential candidate has to come through South Carolina because we're the first in the South primary.
As the South Carolina Republican primary approaches this weekend, all eyes will be on former Governor Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump. 10
out of the last presidential elections, whoever won in South Carolina has won the nomination on both the Republican and Democratic side. South Carolina is the last place that early primary states have an ability to speak into the election prior to what's called Super Tuesday.
To become the Republican nominee, it will take 1,250 delegates. South Carolina holds 50 of those delegates.
All the polling that we've looked at and what seems to be going on in terms of the campaigns that have come before us, looks like Donald Trump will be the winner. Project about 30 points in terms of the polling leads that he has.
The former governor will be competing for votes in her home state, something political scientists say will be difficult for her to get despite Trump's current legal situation.
There's this perception that since Governor Haley is behind in the polls, that she's not popular in the state. And I don't think that's the case. She was a popular governor. I think people still like her. But the fact of the matter in this case is that she's running against a very popular former president. So even though they like her, she's second in line behind Donald Trump at this point.
Political strategists say Haley is attempting to close the gap between her and Trump in other ways.
She's inviting Democrats who did not participate in the Democratic preference primary to vote for her and vote against Donald Trump in the Republican primary. Do I think that's going to matter? Do I think it's going to change the outcome? Absolutely not.
As it stands right now, according to the Associated Press, Donald Trump is leading with 63 delegates. Nikki Haley sits at 17.
If Nikki Haley wants to do anything in South Carolina, she's going to have to close the gap that exists between her number on the polls and where Donald Trump is right now. She's got to be within maybe 10 points in second place against Donald Trump if she wants to have a chance of doing anything beyond South Carolina.
Shelley Garzone, News 19, WLTX.
Meanwhile, the former governor was campaigning across the state today looking for that last-minute support. She was in Sumter speaking outside the American Legion post. A theme in today's message centered around her support for the military, being that her husband is in the South Carolina National Guard and currently deployed.
Right now in America, over 35,000 of our veterans are homeless. 1 in 3 suffers from PTSD or thoughts of suicide. We lose 22 heroes a day to suicide. If a veteran needs a doctor's appointment at the VA, on average, takes 29 days. Why 29 days? Because on the 30th day, they can go to the doctor or hospital of their choice. So midway through the 29 days, they get a call to reschedule, and the clock starts all over again. It's shameful how we treat our veterans.
And over the next 4 days, Haley is planning to make stops in Clemson, Beaufort, Myrtle Beach, also in the Low Country in Mount Pleasant. Meanwhile, former President Trump, he's going to have a town hall. It's taking place tomorrow night in Greer. Trump will campaign in Rock Hill on Friday before attending an event here in Columbia Friday night. His campaign also announcing late today they have plans to watch the results come in at a watch party at the state fairgrounds happening Saturday night. Keep in mind, only 3 days remain for early voting for this weekend's presidential primary, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if you have an absentee ballot, make sure you return it in person or by mail before the end of the day Saturday in order for it to be counted. And if you need information about the upcoming primary, just text the word primary to 803-776-9508. We've got information about the candidates, what you need to bring to the polling places, a lot more. Again, text the word primary, 803-776-9508. And how about the